Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA, building hurting bombs. And today I have my man Todd Grisham, and doing an intro just doesn't sound the same. You usually do them. I can't intro you.
Why are you cheesing so much, bro? You're so happy.
Because I'm excited to see you. And usually you are the one setting me up. I'm your little co-host. So you're usually like, hey, welcome back to Glory Kickboxing. Here's the welterweight channel. So I feel weird introducing you, man.
Hey, no, I'm excited to be on the show with you guys, if this is called a show.
Yeah.
I thought Danny was kind of doing his own thing, and now you're kind of hijacking his show to make money off of it, or what's going on?
Yeah, basically. It's free labor. I hire him for free labor, and he comes in here and he does the little podcast for us.
All right.
Which is good. So
what's up, Danny?
What's going on, man?
Doing well. Just trying to survive. 3 kids, 3 daughters under the age of 10, and coronavirus age is not that fun.
I saw you got your daughter shoveling snow. That's nice.
Oh, shoot. Shoveling snow. I can't even get them to make their beds, man.
So I had to bribe you to come on the show. That's kind of nice. I had to send you a nice little clip of something I said. Last week you ditched us. This week I had to send a little clip. Oh, Todd Grisham's my favorite. He's the best. And then he's like, okay, I'll jump on.
First of all, here's how it usually goes. Because I've been on a couple podcasts here and there. Oh. Usually they say, hey, let's do this at 11. Okay. Like 10:30, they go, just a reminder, we're going at 11. Here's the link you need to dial in on. Okay, cool, whatever. Okay. I get like a text an hour later. Guess you missed the show, huh? I'm like, what show? Oh my God, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You were that upset?
No, nothing.
Okay. All right. Fair. I just feel like because you're such a big deal now that always messaging you all the time, it bothers you. You know,
I'm a huge deal.
With all these big calls you're getting. One day I see you're with, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, and then why do you want to talk to your good old friend over here?
Oh, please. I heard you saying something like, man, Todd, he's a beast. He's working so hard. He did the Triple G fight this day and kickboxing the next day. Man, you got to give him kudos. Anybody who wouldn't do that? I mean, you shouldn't give me kudos. You should be like, I'm jealous.
I am jealous.
Who would say,
I am jealous.
I can't do 2 fights. Huh?
But I am jealous. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
What did I call you in our text yesterday? I said you're my commentary sensei. That's a pretty big role.
That's big. Well, I mean, you used to say Mauro Ranallo was your number one.
Yeah, he
Remember
was.
that?
It was. Hey, my number one. You have to work for my number one spot. You don't just get it. You got to earn it. You got to earn my number one spot.
Number 2. Yeah. Say that you like Mauro. Hey, what about Thomas Ron Kruk? You love Thomas Ron Kruk?
I do love Thomas Ron Kruk. He was my original sensei until you stepped in, and then that's it. So
yeah, funny. People didn't know that if I didn't make it in time, Ron Kruk was going to call the Badr Hari Benny Adegbuyi fight because I had to fly in that morning from Miami at 10 a.m. and we were going live at 2.
Yeah, that's insane. So you literally called the Triple G fight, which finished at what, midnight?
Midnight in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay, and then you took a 5 a.m., 6 a.m. flight?
First flight out with nonstop to New York City, took an Uber, and then there it was.
Literally, I think we started rehearsals at 10 a.m.? You rolled in at 9:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
Plane ready to go.
Ready to go. Well, see, I thought I was going to be able to land, go dump my stuff at the hotel, take a quick shower, come in. No. I still had swamp ass from the night before, screaming and yelling at Triple G.
That's what that smell was all show.
It was just like, so I'm filthy, and our producer, Bill Borson's like, well, go ahead and get dressed. I'm like, I got to put a suit on? Yep. Oh, my God.
Yep. And good old Todd Grisham style, had all the stuff mixed and rumpled up in his luggage, pulls it out, and it still somehow works, and he looks good doing it. I have no idea how.
Joe packs like he's on Say Yes to the Dress or something, bro.
My little pocket square, my tie clip, my little particular stuff. Jeez.
No, that's my power cord pocket. This is my IFB pocket, and here's what I make of it.
Well,
my little handkerchiefs.
Yeah, and
my
who started
flower
it,
things.
Who started it? You helped me with commentary. I helped you a little bit with fashion and style.
Yeah,
now you're always rocking a little pocket square now.
I'm still not into the suit with no belt. I can't do the pants with no belt.
No.
I got to have the belt.
All right.
Danny, Joe comes in one day and looks at me like I'm just like this disgusting homeless person. He goes, you still wear a belt with your pants suits? I'm like, yeah. He goes, what are you doing, man? I just got this custom-made $6,000 suit.
I wish it was $6,000. I wish that was the case.
I got this damn J.C. Penney's on the blue market.
Yeah. Nah, you're the pro, man, and you still pull it off, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I try.
There you go. So, Triple G fight. How was that calling something like that? Because you got to think, like, as a fight fan, to me, like, you calling Triple G and then you calling Botter is like, you're talking about the best in both worlds, you know?
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, Triple G's opponent wasn't the level of Badr Hari's opponent. So
My
Triple
twin,
G,
people say, right?
yeah, he just No, Gabe Rosado wasn't fighting him.
Which fight was that?
No, Triple G was fighting Samil Zarameta.
Okay.
The guy from
Oh,
Poland.
I was thinking Daniel Jacobs. Sorry, that was the Daniel Jacobs fight.
That was the week before. Yeah, I've called some great fights lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I just called the Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay. Triple G. Triple G, awesome. No crowd, though, which makes it a little bizarre.
Okay.
You know, I'm standing, oh, my God, he got it. And I'm looking around, and there's like, some, there's like two like staff people in the back smoking cigarettes.
No one even cheering.
no one knows the hell's going on. But, yeah, he looked great.
But his power punching, you got to think, hearing that live in that quiet arena, is it something special or?
Well, the only thing is when we call fights at that Hollywood, Florida Hard Rock Cafe, Hotel, Casino, whatever it is, we're removed. We sit in like the front row of the stadium seating, so we're about 20 feet back.
So you don't get that impact as much as you would get.
I mean, yeah, but there have been some that I've been real close to. And it's cool. But sometimes, especially in Europe, you know this, or Asia, when you're calling fights, the crowd is dead silent anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But it's still just knowing people are there and they're watching has got to give you a little something, you know? Like I went to the UFC and the first podcast I did was all about how I hated going to the UFC. I didn't hate it, but that it's different, you know? Like I went in a time when there was 15, 20,000 people competing. Toronto was the hot market. So I saw these athletes get this praise and this attention and this love from everybody. Now it feels like we're hiding, literally go in quarantine, stay in your room for 24 hours, Uber your food in. It's just that fight week's just not the same. And even our fight week, Zoom, FaceTiming the guys, it's just not the same. You don't get that energy, that feeling. So I've been hating it, man. I've been really hating it. So.
Well, I think it was it Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier who were saying they almost now enjoy calling fights better with no fans.
But they're there, you know, they're ringside. Yeah. We like maybe a lot of people don't know. We called that Badr Benjamin Adekboye in a basically, what would you call it, an industrial unit,
a garage
in New Jersey, basically. It looked like you were getting your car fixed, and we had to set up a stage, and like literally, it's where you go to fix your car. It has the industrial door garage and like all the tools, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? But apparently, that's how all college sports are being broadcasted now, and apparently in the broadcast trucks, you can't stay 6 feet apart, so they had to create these little rooms and stuff. But just not the same, man. Just not the same.
I'm just glad to be doing something. I know you are too. In Toronto, you can't even leave your.
No, gym's in lockdowns. The whole city, the whole province of Ontario's in a lockdown.
Damn liberals up there in Canada.
That's it.
They're killing California. The damn Democrats are killing California.
Well, you're part-time in Florida, so you basically do what you want over when you're there.
It's Wild Wild West. They're like, don't even wear condoms when you have sex anymore. That's
just
how
let it out. Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, just let it go. So does Danny not talk? Does Danny not talk on this podcast? What's going on here?
We have little setups and times, but he jumps in.
Yeah, I can come in from time to time. But
I mean,
I like you guys.
I've been watching. I like Danny's like Captain Kirk on Star Trek. He's always doing like a Stardate update. Yeah. Like when I watch his podcast, he's like, "Here's Danny."
Oh yeah, the low hat. Oh, you even rocked the hat. I like
the hoodie. When have I rocked a hoodie? But I like it.
Hold on. Hey guys, I know we live in a cynical world. It has its ups. It does has its ups, but as we all know, it has its downs too.
That's it.
I love the little voice. I love how you got that.
Right.
And then he zooms in into my face. I like it.
I just like that he's picking on Danny. He's usually picking on me. I'm happy he's picking on you now.
I know.
No, like, on Star Trek, he's like, Stardate 1535. We met some very interesting people today. Yes,
there you go. Say he needs Sensei Grisham to help.
Yeah, I could use some tips.
You know what the main thing he told me was he's Mr. Energy. Todd is like crazy loud, you know?
Yeah.
And when he calls a knockout or knockdown, he goes nuts. Like if you've seen that Rico Badr, he's up on his feet, he's yelling, he's screaming, he stands up. So my thing was, it's like when I've seen thousands of knockouts. So I wouldn't get that excited. So all of a sudden he'd be like, ah, and then I'd come in at like this little flat line. He's like, Joe, where's the frick's the excitement, man? Like, try to match my levels, but to match his craziness is almost impossible.
Man. Yeah,
man.
I know.
But I pick up on it now. I pick up on it.
You don't have to go 10. I'm just saying you can't go 2.
Yeah.
Give me 6.
A 6, that's not bad.
Yeah, because it makes if I come in, I'm like, oh my God, Potter, he just got knocked out, most incredible thing I've ever seen. Like, well, I told you he was going to get hit to the body, you know.
I did tell you.
You and me, I sound like a freaking hypochondriac or whatever the word is. And he's a hypochondriac. Someone's always sick.
Someone who's like, I think they Google stuff because they're always scared, like that they're gonna be sick.
I'm going just hyper. Let's just stop with
nuts.
hyper. The chondriac. And then you come in there, it makes us both. It looks like you're dead. And it looks like I'm on 50 Red Bulls.
Yeah, my favorite moment is sometimes like I'll be mid saying something and a big shot will happen. So I'll continue to jump on Todd's feet and say something. So the look he gives, he'll turn over and go, like that face, like, shut up, like shut up. Like it's like the look he gives is like you just disrespected him to the max. He just literally he'll be talking and he'll look at me, just, he puts his hands in front of you. And he tells me to stop. I was like, all right, cool, all right. Have your moment. This is your time. You know, if you did this on the street, we're fighting, but it's your zone.
As a fighter, and Danny is a fight fan, does anything bother you more than there's action happening, guys are getting clocked, and some guy's like, well, you know, he trained with Duke Rufus for the last 3 years, and he trained with George from Las Vegas. So I'm just supposed to sit there like this while Joe's telling a story.
Yeah.
While freaking Bailey Sugden is murdering someone in the ring. I'm like, bro, whatever happens in the ring supersedes whatever lame-ass Canada story you're telling.
Just stop talking.
So, boom. I mean, you know.
It's happened maybe twice, 2 or 3 times in like 5 years. Come on.
I know. But what he'll do, Danny, now, because he used to, he was kind of like a scared kitten. He would just talk, and is it okay? But now, bro, with Darren Botter, he's rolling. Oh, man, you know, he'll do my job and his job. He's like, you know, there's a big right hand in the jaw, Todd. And as I was saying, so I'm just sitting there like, well, let me just listen in, Joe. What do you got for me here, buddy?
Sometimes let me ride it, man. Sometimes I'm feeling it. Let me go, man. Sometimes you got to let it happen. But I got on some of those promos the last time. You gave me a little big up for that.
No, bro, it's good that you're getting confidence. You're getting very good.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I just wish this year, I felt at the end of, 2019, I was on a nice little roll. We were going every other week. I called 2 fights in all of 2020 . So I need more of those reps, but felt good.
Did you go back and watch it?
No, I haven't been able to see it yet. You?
I haven't either. Not yet. I like to almost forget what I said and then watch it again and say, why the hell did I say that?
Yeah, but you're like me, though. We don't really watch our stuff back.
Well, and the thing is, as you know, since I'm the only person that calls Glory Fights, when they put these pieces together, of these fighters, like the hype pieces that you put together, Danny, it's my voice the whole time. So whatever I said in that fight, I'm going to hear 10,000 times.
Over and over and over, yeah.
I have to rewatch fights on mute. I don't want to hear myself. I don't want to hear you.
You mute it?
I mute it. When I rewatch fights, I'm like, I don't want to hear my damn voice. Because then I stop watching the fight, and I end up being too critical on myself. So
I'm not going to lie. I actually rewatch fights just to hear you guys talk. Because I watch it, without hearing you guys. I enjoy the commentary. Like, I want to hear the excitement when someone gets knocked out,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. So
I don't. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, it's a compliment for you guys. I like you guys.
So I want to talk about this Ryan Garcia fight, to be honest with you. You were just there. I mean, okay, I'm going to give you my opinion first. I kind of still think the kid is great, phenomenal future talent. I still think he's a little overhyped in my eyes. A little bit overhyped in my eyes. I found he was a little flat-footed. I felt he took some big shots. I know he's a counter fighter and likes to move, and he brought the pressure this fight, but I just feel the hype, and I feel you guys as commentators are just, I know it's part of the job, but everything is so Ryan Garcia hype, and I know it's the job because he's the, the next poster boy, but I just think slightly overhyped.
Why do you think that?
I just think young. I think his social media made him a bigger star than he actually is right now. And I think he's going to become that star. But I just think right now, I mean, these next 4 big fights for him, I mean, like the Gervonta Davis fights, and I think he might be overmatched in fights like that. I still think he's a little overhyped.
Maybe instead of overhyped, maybe go untested.
Untested? Okay, I'll take that.
Hyped, to me, he was overhyped going into the fight. Now, if you didn't hear our commentary, if you didn't know anything about it, and I said Ryan Garcia got knocked down in the 3rd round, got back up, and beat Luke Campbell every round of the 7th round when he hit him with a body shot and he couldn't get up. Lomachenko couldn't keep him down. And he's never been stopped in his entire career. He's an Olympic gold medalist who's 8 years older than Ryan Garcia and is in his fighting prime. Then what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it untested. But, I mean, there is a lot of hype around him. There is. But, I mean, I think the right word is, though, untested, because I think he is going to live up to that hype eventually.
I think if you ask me right now to bet money, I think maybe he beats Tank. I think Devin Haney might be. Wow. I think Devin Haney might beat Garcia because he won't get in there and exchange with him. He'll just try and outbox him. And I think he might be a better boxer than Garcia. I think Lomachenko probably beats him.
I think so.
And Teofimo Lopez right now, I think probably beats him. I'm just saying because we don't know. If I thought the Luke Campbell fight, like you said, you noticed these mistakes, these glaring mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, bro, he just beat a guy that Lomachenko couldn't stop. So
True.
those glaring, he's still that good at 22 when he's got so much room to improve. He's beating these guys without head movement and not knowing what am I supposed to do with a southpaw. And he got knocked to the canvas for the first time. He said he's never even been knocked down in sparring.
Yeah,
you saw him afterwards, like, damn guys, I got knocked down.
He was excited about it almost, because he wanted to show people he can take a shot,
And like you said, he comes out on a King's Chariot and they let him out. He got knocked on the ground in the 3rd round. You're like, this guy's he's gonna melt. Here it comes. The great hype is over, and he comes back and does that.
Yeah. I thought I thought the
it.
King entrance was a little too much.
Yes,
I think it's a
little too much for him right now. Whatever,
right now.
King Rai, he's playing up his thing. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya. I just never seen Oscar so excited. To see his golden boy just get a win like that. Even to see Canelo Alvarez all super hyped up, man.
Yeah. Well, bro, to come off the, you know what? I mean, the feeling in that arena when he got knocked down in the 3rd round was almost the feeling I felt was almost like we've all been suckered.
Yeah.
We just all bought because we wanted it so bad. We all went, not so much Ryan Garcia the person, but we want a boxing superstar. That's the thing that the sport needs. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is a superstar, but he never speaks English. He's very humble. He's not braggadocious. Yeah. We almost need a Conor McGregor type of guy to come save us. And all these other Teofimo Lopez's and these guys are like, oh, he's nothing but. Yeah, but we're all talking about him.
Yeah. His YouTube channel's doing great. His Instagram, everything.
And I don't know the exact numbers, but DAZN was extremely happy with what kind of numbers he provided. So who's bringing in young fans? You think the average 18-year-old knows who Devin Haney is or knows who Lomachenko is? Yeah. No, they don't. Oh, Ryan Garcia with the super fast hands and does the body challenge with the Logan guys. Yeah, he has 8 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah. That seems to be the direction all of this combat sports is going, especially boxing. Like, you got to think, if you're a 22-year-old phenomenal athlete, you're thinking you're going into mixed martial arts in this age, the UFCs, but he's actually bringing life to boxing again, which is kind of exciting.
And someone said this stat, and at first I was like, what a dumb thing to say. It has nothing to do with each other. But if you think about it, someone said Mike Tyson never got off the canvas and beat anyone in his career. Never. A lot of the greats have never done that. And this kid at 22 does that?
Yeah. I mean, I like
whatever.
I think, 21-0 now, 20 finish. How many finishes? Like 17 finishes now or something along that, but still damn good. I just love that setup. The setup to that body shot was phenomenal. And you rarely see it against a southpaw too, which is rare. Which surprises me because the liver is closer to you at that point. So you would think that you'd be able to attack it, but attack the head, rip the body, perfect setup.
And you know this better than me, Joe, so I don't want to say it without it being true. But everyone's like, look, he had no head movement. He was flat-footed. How much of that had to do – because you've never really seen him like that before. How much of that had to do with him fighting a southpaw where he thought maybe, hey, I'm going to be more flat-footed because I can put more torque in my body shots.
Yeah, I think the flat-footedness came from him having to come forward, like the fact that you have to come forward, block and counter back against the southpaw, which I think made him a little flat-footed. But even with the head movement, man, as long as your guard's there and you're slipping and countering, I think a big thing for Garcia was try to get him to throw so he can counter. I always call that counter the counter. But I saw those little holes, in Garcia, but he fixed it up near the end, So, I mean, I'm just excited. I just think the initial point of him being a little overhyped, but he's building into it, man. I like it.
Yeah. It was funny. We got A lot of the American fans were like, "Oh, great call." The English fans want us not like strung up by our feet and murdered. Like Sergio kept saying how good looking he thought Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's tough.
Like he's the whole world of boxing's on his show. I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to temper down. My job is every once in a while I'm thinking, all right, wait a minute, what Campbell? Because if you don't make Luke Campbell look good, he just beat a bum.
Yeah.
So you got to be like, wait a minute now, this guy Luke Campbell's legit. He's So I try my best, but
it's hard
not to get caught up.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. I'm sure. This is what I'm a little hesitant listening back to our Botter call. Did we give Benjamin Adegbuyi the credit and the respect that he deserved in that call? Because everything is about Botter. Botter's going to fight Rico. Botter's knocked out Rico twice. And, did we give Benny the true call? That's what I'm a little nervous about.
That's your job, though, guys, right?
Yeah, but we're friends with both guys. Yeah. We're probably a lot closer with Benjamin Adegbuyi than we are with Botter.
Yeah.
So
it's just Botter sells the ticket. Botter sells the show, and you guys are the talent that helps sell the show. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I thought one of the worst.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say one of the worst boxing ones I heard was Canelo. When Canelo fights, it's like you have to do everything Canelo Alvarez. Because he's the big superstar, I think it was last Canelo's fight. I read a few journalists talking about how favorable, but it's Canelo, pound for pound #1. I just think it's what it is. You can't. It's like our mind automatically goes that way.
Boxing, because UFC, unless your name's John Jones, you're going to lose pretty soon. It may not be your next fight or the next one, but you will lose. With boxing, if they wanted to make Ryan Garcia stay undefeated until he was 30, they could do it pretty easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In UFC, you can't do that. So you don't really get that much time to get a hype behind somebody. By the time you start figuring out they're good, then you're putting somebody against Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem with kickboxing too, right? I think that's just it's the nature of the game.
Yeah. So boxing it's just a different thing. I mean, it's all based on pay-per-view and it's based on personality. I mean, glory fighters fight for glory. So here's glory. UFC fighters fight for UFC. UFC. Boxers fight for themselves, basically, for the most part. Yeah. So, Dana White says, Israel Adesanya, you're fighting whoever. You're fighting John Jones, okay? He's pretty much got to fight.
Yeah.
In boxing, you got to fight Teofimo Lopez. No, I don't. Fuck you.
Yeah. But he's the mandatory. I'll just give him some money. I don't need to fight him now.
Trust me, there's always a different mandatory. You can find. There's this Russian kid who's 20-0 that I'll fight, whose last 3 fights have been against male strippers. You know what I mean? It goes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's frustrating because I think the value in boxing is the record. I mean, everyone with Floyd Mayweather being undefeated and everyone wants those. But I mean, I feel like the guys who don't care about it, like the Gabe Rosados, he's gotten such huge fights because he doesn't care to have 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. He's got to fight Triple G, Daniel Jacobs. He doesn't care. He's there for the big fights. And I mean, if he wanted to protect his record, he would have never gotten those big fights.
Well, and not to get back on the Garcia hype train, but how many people around him do you think said it's a good idea for you to fight Luke Campbell right now?
Yeah, probably a lot of them said.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You think Oscar De La Hoya's my young, talented 21-year-old, about to be 22-year-old, who could fight another 15 fights, his last 4 fights have been basically first-round knockouts, 3 or 4, whatever it was. He hasn't been tested, and we're going to throw him in against a guy that went 12 rounds with Lomachenko.
Yeah.
And 1 round off Lomachenko.
Southpaw.
That's a good idea. Yeah. But he did it. He said, no, I want it. And that's what made Canelo popular. Remember he fought Floyd Mayweather when he was, 23? That was a terrible idea by many, but guess what? Even though he lost, it elevated his name, and now look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's that there's a time where I think Garcia being so young, he's going to be forced to take one of those big fights. And he'd make that big payday. I just hope that, the boxing model now could still sustain that type of fights now. I mean, I'm assuming it can. I mean, so the kid's good, man. The kid is good. But let's get to it because I know you got to leave soon. You messaged me this morning with some of the biggest fights I've seen in kickboxing in a long time. This Rico versus Jamal Ben Sadiq card on January 30th is stacked.
I'm stunned. It's the first time that I've seen a card in any fight sport I've ever watched where I've been like, why are they putting so many unbelievable fights on one card? Why would they space it out?
Yeah. I mean, once I saw 4 world title fights, the names on it, and even the undercards that they're talking about, oh my God. I mean, we can bring up some of the names now. I mean, it's been released, but I mean,
Donnie Dana versus
Tavares.
Luis Tavares.
That's a great fight.
Tiger Sean versus
My guy, Garrick Belay.
I'm talking about like if you're into kickboxing, follow Glory. I'd pre-order it just to make sure I get this damn thing.
Yeah.
It's that good of a card.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bader Hari card had some good fights on it. Don't get me wrong, but this is just.
Yeah, this is next level. I mean, you got to think we're going to put the co-main event on that last card is going to be on this card. So Cedric Douvet versus Myrtle Grunhart. And you got to think Doumbé is on this tear of social media. He's back on Myrtle, making fun of Myrtle's pants. I think there's a new one he posted making fun of Myrtle's feet now. So, I mean, Doumbé's a beast, man. And I think Grunhart brings out the fun. So you can help but be excited for a fight like that. And then we have Tiffany Van Soos taking on Alina Pereira, Alex Pereira's sister.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Crazy.
She's a nasty girl.
Oh, man.
Nasty.
No experience, but she's, a female version of Pereira, just knocking everybody out, man.
Yeah.
And that tall length that she
Fights the
has,
same style.
But again,
Yeah.
Tiffany Van Soos' footwork, her angles, her experience, like it's gonna be a tough fight. But if I'm Tiffany Van Soos, I'm focusing. I'm hitting this gym. I know she's in Amsterdam training with Lucien Carbine, which is been doing really good for her. So I mean, tough ass fight for Tiff. And then I think on the other card, what are some of the other fights that we had?
Bro, you're forgetting the best fight.
Oh, yes. I got excited on the other one. Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. And we're not even talking about Rico yet. We're not talking about the world. We're talking about these fights. When Glory was doing 12, 13 events a month, these 4 fights would basically be our headline
events.
Four fights.
They would.
Boom.
They're all main events.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Pereira versus Vakhitov. What are you thinking in this one? I just hope Vakhitov comes in healthy. We haven't seen him in probably a year and a half, but if we see the Vakhitov that we've seen in the past, that's just I need to know the type of Vakhitov that's going to come in.
Yeah, I don't think we're really going to know because he always says hand's good, and then afterwards it's like, oh, broken hand again. So I think you have to say Pereira's the favorite just based on that alone.
Yeah. But what I like about Vakhitov is he can fight both stances. He can kick well. He can box. But, I mean, you're going against that Brazilian killer. I'm telling you, even watching Pereira's last MMA fight, he has that natural gifted power. When he touches you, you're out. And it doesn't even look hard. Me and Todd have called how many Pereira knockouts where he's literally slept guys out cold.
Jason
Not
Wilman,
just TKOs,
brutal.
out.
Oh, Bulgari. Oh,
Here's Bulgari. Like bodies. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah. What are you thinking
And
of?
these guys, it's not like he hits them and they're like, all right, they're in trouble. You don't even get to
Sleep.
build up to the knockout. It's like,
Yeah.
remember
Without
the 4 guys
effort.
from Turkey?
And these are guys,
Ertugrul Bayrak?
Ertugrul
Yes.
Bayrak. These are all number
It
one
almost looked
contenders.
like the bell was about to ring, and it was almost like Pereira was like, hey, good round, buddy. It was just kind of a little good round, buddy.
Yeah.
And
Like all around, you're like, buddy, like Pereira, put some power behind something. He's dancing, he's touching, and then all of a sudden, like the hook didn't even look like he tried hard. It's just that timing, the rotation. I mean, he's probably. Who else do I like to watch more than Pereira right now? It's pretty tough to pick someone.
It's hard to say. I think he's probably the most exciting kickboxer right now.
Yeah.
maybe in all of combat sports.
Yeah.
And the way that he's like keeps his hands like this, and he's just ready to throw it. He's not nervous.
No.
He's like, okay, he's just waiting for the moment, and then bang,
Yeah.
or bang.
Nasty.
Can't wait.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites right now for sure. But before that, before Vahitov's layoff, if you ask me who one of my favorite fighters to watch, I tell you Vakhitov.
Yeah.
2
Who-
years
who
ago,
do you
you
think
asked me
the
my
fight-
favorite fighter was probably Vakhitov. So
Was it a Baina? Who did he beat in his last title defense?
it was Abena, and before that,
beat him with
Alunga. Yeah.
Remember? He just
It was
got
a
him
close
in the left.
fight. It was still a close fight, but I mean, one hand.
Of course it was, because he fought it with one hand.
Yeah,
Of course.
southpaw, opposite stance too. He
Yeah.
had to switch stances totally and
Hey,
fight a
and we
world
haven't
title
talked about
fight.
the main event.
Yeah.
Last time we saw Jamal Ben Sadiq, he did the same thing.
Yep.
Remember, he knocked out Adegbuyi with just kept going left uppercut.
Yeah. They call it MMA math all the time. You got to think now it's like, Jamal Ben Sadiq, knocks out, the Benjamin Adekbuy knocks out Badr Hari. And you got to think, we haven't seen Rico knocked out Ben Sadiq, but I don't know, man. I think Jamal Ben Sadiq has a real legit chance. The way he's looking, the power he has, the vulnerability we saw in Rico getting dropped by Badr twice in his last fight. And we don't get it wrong, Jamal Ben Sadiq almost finished Rico, I think, early on in round 1, where Rico finishes them in round 5. So, I mean, that was early 2-3 rounds, and I think Sadiq will stay patient, try to set things up. But I think this is going to be an even closer fight than their first one.
I think so, too.
I mean, and who knows what Rico's doing? You know, Rico's always, it's hard to tell from Rico's social media these days. He doesn't post anything about training. Everything, he's in his car.
He's in acting now, isn't he?
He's in his jacket walking out of his car.
He's got all like lifestyle
he's
stuff
got his
now.
lifestyle shot. So, I mean, I don't see him training. And when we do see him doing ladders and agility. He's never posted sparring, working hard. So, I don't know. Every question we ask him, like, are you doing too much outside? And he always, assures us that he's focused in and he's doing his work.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen him fight in over a year.
Yeah, the last Badr fight.
The guy's got to make money. So right now, people are probably paying him to post pictures of this. They're not paying them to post pictures of him.
Yeah,
true. So he's
true.
He just like we're all having to scramble a little bit. Maybe that's what he's doing.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think with him, the fight is coming up. We want to know he's training. It's time, man. The fight's in like 3 weeks. Let's go.
Right.
Give me some confidence, man.
Text Rico and say, hey, mother effer, get in the gym.
That's it. Let's see it, man. When Badr was coming up, we saw he posted his pictures. He's in the gym. Let
me ask you this. If I were to say, hey, one fighter in all of glory, is going to come in 100% ready no matter what. Rico's got to be in your top 5. Have you ever doubted his conditioning?
Never.
That's true.
Never.
So just because he's not posting video, I highly, especially when his sparring partner just knocked out the hurry.
I definitely.
You think he's cool.
I'm just saying, I would like to see it more, man. You're talking about the heavyweight champ of the world, and I mean, I kind of want to see the stuff that he's doing. That's part of, as a martial artist, I'm like, what is, the most prized possession in kickboxing is the heavyweight world title. Show me a little sparring clip. Show me you cracking some pads with Dennis Crowell, Show me your focus. Give a little motivation speech, like these guys like doing now. Just get in there, So I saw a pretty cool post. You got your boy Masaya Kubo sent you a shirt from Japan.
Oh, yeah, I should give him some props. Masaya Kubo, who's fought for glory many times. I believe he won a tournament. Did he win a tournament? That's
I think he lost in the finals, but the finals was like fight of the year or something.
Yeah, the guy just came in like a true Japanese warrior.
Yeah,
and he posted a picture of his. It's got a hippopotamus on it. Maybe in post, Danny could throw a picture of my thing. But it had a hippopotamus on it that says Kubo. And I was like, cool shirt. Yeah. And he has to use translation, so I'm sure he writes me something like, super time with shirt, want to wear with Todd. And I was like, yes, okay. I love a shirt.
But you speak a little Japanese. Come on, man.
Oh, I know his name. But it took like 2 months to get it. So I got it, took a picture, posted it, and I wrote it to him. And he's like, it was funny because he took my picture and put it on like his Instagram. And I used the translator to read when he wrote. He goes, my shirt is hitting America and taking it by storm.
The one shirt has landed. I didn't even get one. At least send one to Canada, man. I'll help you out a little bit.
Oh,
it's taking off, man. The sales are going crazy here in the U.S.
Put a link to his page on here, so maybe he sells more than one of those shirts.
There you go. The Hippo Muay Thai.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
what else, man? Anything else you got exciting you want to talk about?
Well, I met this chick on Bumble.
Nice. What's her name? What does she do?
I'm kidding.
That's fun.
Speaking of, we should go back to when Joe missed the second knockdown of the Badr Hari Rico fight when he was there swiping right on some Amsterdam.
Oh, that's what they were saying, huh?
Oh, I mean, you're down here looking like this. I'm like, oh, my God. And Joe's like, ah!
And the thing is, I couldn't even tell you afterwards. Like, I couldn't even say, what a head kick, because I'd have no idea what the strike was. So I was like, what a shot.
That's happened to me before, but as the play-by-play guy, I can't just act like I wasn't watching. So if I'm doing it and I see a guy go down, I can usually tell if it was a body shot or whatever. I think it even happened in one of the fights the other night where I was like, he's, he was born in blah, blah, blah. Oh! And I see the guy, I'm like, what a body shot as he goes down.
You're lucky.
Like, God, let it have been a body shot.
Yeah. A lot of the mistakes I see myself make, and I see a few guys, a lot of commentators make it, when you see action quickly, you call it. And say the guy's a southpaw, and you think it's a right hand. Oh, what a right hand. You're like, it was a left. He's a southpaw. Like, it just, those things happen a lot. And I mean, you just keep
I remember
flying.
One of them was Michael Duke, the Dream Crusher, who's like just he's like a mafia looking guy that'll just kill anyone. And he caught poor guy. It was a 4-man tournament. He got 2 knockouts in like 30 total seconds. And he caught the guy with the sweetest, I think it was the left hook. And I was like, what a right hook. And he just
oh, I didn't even notice.
Playing it. Glory keeps playing it. I'm like, bro, I got to do what we call a wild line, where I get to a booth and I go, what a left hand, you know?
Yeah, just a quick cut over.
Well, hey, I'll tell you this. I was calling, and thank God it didn't go over the air. There was the boxer, his nickname is the Albanian Bear. He's Rashad Mati. And he had this amazing knockout last year where he was shoe shining the guy, ducked the hook and like caught him. And I was like, look at him go. The Russian Bear. Look at the Russian Bear.
Oh, yeah.
And like Albania and Russia, it's like, I think they hate each other. But thank God it was like a swing bout that we were going to add in if we needed the time. And afterwards, I called the producer. I was like, God, listen to me right now. You cannot air that knockdown. Just go blank. Well, we can't just have, I said, trust me on this. If that airs, I'll lose it'll be a fucking nightmare. They had me do a wild line where I just go, the Albanian Bear, the Albanian Bear. So, because I couldn't see the video back. So you just hear the knockdown. You just hear me going, the Albanian Bear, the Albanian Bear.
I mean, lucky they can do that. I mean, I remember the one you messed up a name once we had to redo. That was your earlier time.
Well, how about this one? First of all, here's how nice Joe was when I first met him. We were practicing this open. I'm like, hey, welcome, blah, blah, blah.
But again, hold on. You got to tell everyone, I'm new to commentary at this time. I'm very new to commentary, so I'm not confident at all.
So we're practicing the open. I've never worked with him. Like, I'm here with Joseph Volini, and Joseph, blah, 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 right? And he just keeps going. So we had to do it 2 or 3 times, and then by like the 4th take, and he's like, oh, by the way, it's Valtellini. I said, were you just not going to tell me, bro?
We're rehearsals. I was going to tell you after rehearsals how to say my name properly.
No, this
not
we were
mid-rehearsal.
Bro. We were recording.
I don't know. That was like my 3rd or 4th commentary show. I was like, this guy coming from WWE, the superstar. I just finished working with Mauro Ranallo, who has, a tendency to get mad at people if they don't do things right. And imagine me going to Mauro Ranallo and say, hey, Mauro, you're saying my name wrong. So I don't know who you are. I barely know you. This is our first show ever. I can't just correct you like that.
It's your bro. If you said, "Hey, Joseph Valtellini is alongside Todd Greaseham,"
Greaseham,
bro, it's Grisham.
Okay, hold on. Stop filming. It's
yes, we're on TV.
I was scared at that point. I don't know. It's like you going to me. You go to my pad video. You're like, Joe, man, I think you got to turn over your right hip a little bit more on your right kick. I'm gonna turn around and say, sure, you can tell me what to do. You stick to your role. You stick to mine.
I'm not taking sides.
Well, what'd you add? Yes, but I've made many, many, many mistakes. I butchered Sakuraba's name on a UFC broadcast.
Yep.
I've called. Remember we were in Nice, France, and you didn't know either, or maybe that's why you didn't correct me. So they changed. It's a last-minute change of the undercard main event, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, I can't remember who it is. They're fighting. It's like the start of round 3, and the producer gets my name and goes, "Hey, the guy in the white trunks is Rodriguez, not the guy." We called 2 full rounds, but 3-round fight, calling them both by the wrong name.
Both by the wrong name.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And no one, I think, even knows today.
And then I remember he said, "Calling by the wrong name the whole time," and Joe's like, "Yeah, I think so." Like, why wouldn't you fucking tell me?
No, because I thought I was calling it wrong. Because you were saying, I'm like, am I saying it wrong or is he saying it wrong? So I had to stop, and then I had to look at my notes. Okay, blue corner is there, red corner is there. Okay, I think this is it. I had no clue. And you know who it was? Do you remember the fight? It's one of our boys now. It was one of them was Nordine Mahadine.
Oh, I love him. Boy, he looked great.
Unreal, minus the finals, but I think he was too banged up from the first fight. I think he would. Him and Davey Richter's there would be a great fight, fresh.
When the look on his face when he found out he had to have an extra round, you knew he was done. He was like, really? I got to fight this guy another 3 minutes? Oh.
I actually watched This Was Glory. When they do the recap show behind the scenes. And when he was leaving after that first fight, he was crying and he was emotional, man. So, I mean, he was probably banged up. He lost to Plaza Bot before. So then he came back and, to win the fight. He has no coach. So to go in there, he got emotional. He was crying and then had to come back. Like, let's be honest. He wouldn't have gone down with a little front. Like, I mean, the front kicks are hard, but to go down like that, he needs one more. They need to run it back.
He was gassed. He was hurt. He was emotional.
4 rounds, extra round.
The other guy, smelled like he just got out of a new car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one had touched him.
Yeah.
Fresh-faced baby.
Plazabot's fighting in this card too. He's one of our new heavyweight contenders he's taking on.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought he was going to win that fight.
Yeah, me too. But I think Mahadine deserved it, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. I thought he deserved it in the first 3 rounds. At least the open scoring is – I know you were talking about how much you like it, and I will not say anything bad about open scoring because Glory uses it, but sometimes it can be a bit too much information, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, fair. But I don't think the Glory scoring isn't like how they're doing it in Invicta and other things, right? Like Danny's worked with Invicta, and the corner guy will actually bring the iPad with the score to the corner. Where like we put it on a graphic, so we don't necessarily know if the actual corners are reading it, knowing it going in, right? But I just think for broadcast, it slows it down.
To me, open scoring is great under certain conditions of the scoring. Other ways, it's not good at all. For instance,
yes,
you know it's 1-1 going into the third round. If both guys know that, both girls, you're like, here we go, right? But if one person in a close fight knows, hey, you're winning 2-0, then what are you going to do in the third round? Oh, I just got to not get knocked out.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, if it's a really dominant fight, you know if you're up 2 rounds or not.
Well, what if? But what I said, certain conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many times have we been like, I don't know who's winning, who's whatever. So. Yeah. To me,
I feel like it kills a little bit of that suspense too. Like when it's such a close fight, and then they're about to call, and they say by split decision, and then right there, you got that anticipation, like who's winning, and then it's like blue corner or whatever, you know. Like I think that kills that.
I hate tossing the commercial break after an open scoring when you know the guy's already lost.
Yeah.
Like, all right, when we come back, the decision, I'm like, you never know, and I'm thinking in my head, of course
do.
we know. Yeah. Because, but with the Nordine Mahadine, we didn't because the judge screwed up the scoring.
Screwed it up on the scoring. Yeah.
Really?
Because we're like, oh, it's over. He's moving to the finals. We come back. Oh, nope, he's got another round.
Oh, wow.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, we just said, all right, fight's over. And like,
really?
oh, all right. One guy messed up, and then we had to.
The judges, I think, scored a 10-10 round, and you're not. We didn't get into it.
Yeah.
We're at the freaking Waffle House in New Jersey calling this fight in the garage. So we're not in the arena. I'm like, whatever, man.
There was a cool little piece we talked about the other day. You said in Dutch television there was a clip of Big Mike yelling at Botter going into that third round. I thought that was very interesting. Apparently on Dutch television there is Big Mike, which is the coach, and Todd's wearing the shirt of Big Mike. So Big Mike is the head coach of Badr Hari, and going into the third round, Big Mike was like, just play smart, stay technical, stick to the game plan, don't open up. And next thing you know, Badr opens up, and he ended up losing by knockout.
Well, he wasn't just saying it like that. He was very demonstrative. Like, what are you doing? I don't know exactly what he was saying, but he was like, just be smart. This guy can knock you out if you do anything stupid. Just blah, 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 blah. And then true Badr fashion, he still went after. So give him credit where credit's due. Badr is an animal. He does not want to win on the scorecards.
No, do or die. Do or die. Like when he attacks, like you got to think like a smart technical. You watch boxing, everything is tight, in the shell, protected. When Badr throws, like his hands are down, he's swinging. That's why like his biggest kryptonite would be counterpunches, because either knock you out with this combination. If you survive it, there's a chance you'll hit him, but live or die by the sword. I love it.
I saw him throw I don't know that it was a combination so much. It was like Adik Bowie had his shell up. And when I'm saying throwing it hard, I'm talking about like as hard as a man can throw a punch. Yeah. Boom, boom, uppercut. And eventually one of them's going to hit, and it takes a while, but man, that output, as you know, exhausts you by the third round, and that's why I think he has some trouble because he throws everything into almost every.
Yeah, he doesn't really you see him jab. He's got a phenomenal jab, like we saw it in his first Rico fight. Uses it well. That's the kind of Badr we need, not just opening up every single time. Use that jab a little bit. It's nice.
He's good. High kick too, man. That high kick's nasty.
Yeah,
he still got it.
That left one. It's the left head kick.
Yeah.
I hope that was just an off day for him. I would still love to see that Rico. Obviously, that third one deserves it.
Yeah. Well, look, if you cut off his last 2 fights at the end of round 2, Badr's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
He looked great. Right? He dropped Rico twice. He dropped Benny Adik Bowie. He was ahead on the cards easily. But so you would know better than me. But I would think either his conditioning has to get better, but it seems like he's in the best condition to get in it, or he has to he has to lay back a little bit on those first 2 rounds to have something left from the
kind
third.
of play. Yeah, remember that was a 3-round fight too. I think 5 round is crazy, you know, because he just goes way too hard to sustain a pace for 5. It's tough enough for him to do 3 rounds, but that 5 rounds, that's where I think that second Rico fight, I think in that last 2 rounds, a tough, you know, survival rounds for Badr because Rico just doesn't freaking stop, man.
And those leg kicks were piling up in that fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I just honestly, no, I'm just very happy. Like, you know, like obviously Badr Hari winning is huge for the sport. He brings the attention, the eyes. But if anyone was going to beat him, it's just Benjamin Adegbuyi is like just so nice, such a sweetheart. Like even after like the win, he just beat the legend, the big feared guy. He goes, you know, maybe it was my night tonight, maybe his next time. We'll have to see. You know, just so nice. You beat the legend, bro. You beat the most feared man in kickboxing, and that's why he's the gentleman. So I mean, that just shows how classy the sport is. You know,
we haven't heard anything from Badr yet, right? To my knowledge.
No. I've been checking. I've been looking. I've been trying to find.
I'm wondering, like, I think he's got 1 of 2 ways to go. One is credit to Benjamin Adegbuyi. He was the better man that night. I'll get better. I want my rematch. I'll destroy him. The other is dismissive. I had COVID, which he did. Yeah. I think he had twins born. He had a lot going on. Don't get me wrong. Or a baby born. Yeah, I'm not sure. But, yeah, another child. He had a lot going on. Obviously, switched trainers back to Mike's gym. So, you know, there's plenty of excuses there if he wants to use them. But since we haven't heard anything yet, it'll be interesting to see what he says and who he wants to fight next. Does he want to go back to Benny again, or does he say, I just want to go in there with some guy that's going to, like what's the guy from Romania, the other Romanian,
Catalin Orsano. Yeah.
Somebody like that.
It looked like he may have retired, but yeah, that would be something like that. Would be fun.
This isn't going to the 3rd round, so you don't have to worry about the 3rd round anymore.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of some other. Yeah, but he does need a big name, so it needs someone like that for sure.
You know what I think
Ben Sadiq would be nice.
Ben Sadiq is just a big boy, man. Like powerful. Like it's a risky fight for him. I think he needs a fight like one that we can see him kind of do well.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Pereira.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea.
He wins the middleweight title. He wins the light heavyweight title, and then he calls out Badr Hari, one of those feared heavyweights of all time, because Badr's a smaller heavyweight.
Yep, Badr didn't. But the thing I realized with Badr, and I get the same feeling when I see Pereira. Like you'll look at them on TV, like he's a little skinny, he's not so thick. But when you meet those guys in person, huge, man. I think Badr's like 6'5" or something, huge. Badr's tall. Pereira's a monster too.
He doesn't cut weight. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he's
but he's still huge. But you're like, how is this man this big? Like his hands are big, tall, long frame. I'm just so blown away at how tall and how big they are in real life. Like I mean. I look at Pereira, I'm like, all right, I'm thicker. My legs are bigger, you know. I'm strong. I look like I'm more fit and stronger. But then when you see him, it's like, oh, my God. Like, his legs are up to my chest. His hands are massive. These long arms and reach. It's not that big muscular power, but it's just effective, man. Yeah. It's the best way to put it.
I think that'd be a great fight because,
I like
for 2 reasons. Because Badr would be like, I'm going to crush this guy. He's coming up 30 pounds to fight me. And also Pereira, I've never seen Pereira shrink a little bit unless he's around Badr Hari. When they've hung out,
yes.
He, I don't know what the word is. Not that he's in awe, but he's humbled.
Idolizes him a little bit.
You know? Idolizes him.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that would actually be also an advantage for Badr.
Yeah.
So, but I know Pereira would fight him because he told me I'll fight Rico if they pay me enough and I have time. Yeah.
Yeah, that would absolutely be incredible. I don't know. I mean, it's a big weight difference, but I mean, Pereira is counterpunching, his distance control. He can do it, man. And you think Pereira only walks like 215? You know, Badr's what, 230?
Yeah, because I mean, let's say Ben Sadiq beats Rico, and for some reason Benny Adegbuyi can't fight him. Like, would you put him in there with Sadiq for 5 rounds? I mean, is he a 5-round fighter anymore?
No, who knows? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about he watches and he wants to murder us.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about this earlier. He's the only fighter, maybe ever, that as I'm calling a fight, in the back of my mind, I'm like, if you say something that gets him mad, he might come kill you.
Yeah, you know? You might get a little upset.
And I mean that in jest, mostly in jest. But, you know, he's so intimidating, and you know, as Joe's told
say that I was gonna lose to Rico.
Yeah, he remembers.
My little podcast that has like 100 views. You watch that?
Yeah. He secretly watches. He knows what's going on because he'll bring up things like, "Oh, I've seen him fight. I've seen you fight." And the funny thing is, so we did pre-fight interviews on Zoom, and Todd loves to instigate guys sometimes and to say something. So he goes to Botter. He's like, "Hey, Botter, Joe loves to say the story that." Every time that when you guys first met for the first time, and Botter's like, or what did you say? Is like, how would you do against Joe in the ring or something like that? What did you say to Botter this time? Yes, you did.
I said Joe loves to tell the story how you walked up and squeezed his muscles.
Yeah. But then he said something. You said something after, like, how would Joe do, or something like that. And he's like, he shut you down, basically.
No, he
Saying I was a good guy and how much he liked me, and how he said usually people from Canada, that when we saw them fight, they like brush them away, but I was something special. You tried to make it into something funny, but then he turned it into something nice.
Danny, Joe doesn't know how interpersonal communications work, okay? Like, you make a little joke, like, and I didn't say this, but, you can't stand Joe Valtellini, can you? So what's he gonna say? Of course I can stand Joe Valtellini, and then you can get some praise. Who couldn't stand Joe Valtellini? And why don't you tell Joe, or tell Danny and the entire world right now, who put a squash to one of the most legendary kickboxing beasts of all time, you versus Nicky Holzken? Why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, he squashed it a bit, but there's still a little tension there. You know that. Come on. He knows it. We know it. He sat us together. Yeah.
Nicky Holzken's in the fighters meeting, and Joe's da-da-da-da-da-da. And he said, yeah, here's who I want to fight next. And I said, well, what about Joe? You guys kind of have a beef, don't you? He's like, no, I like Joe. But da-da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. And then they were like, by the end, they were hugging and kissing each other on the mouth.
But he was like, oh, well, Joe said this. And I was like, well, I said this because you said that. So it turned into something like that. But the beef was a little bit squashed. It's not fully squashed, but it's a little bit squashed.
It's not fully
We squashed it a little. It'll never be fully squashed. I'm too stubborn to squash. Man, I lost to. I'm not going to just be like, okay, it's over now. In my head, it's like, we're squashed, you know?
Right. Thanks for having me on the show, man. Look, I even wore the gear, the whole thing.
I know. I appreciate it, man. Yeah. All right, man. So I know we kept you. You got a phone call here, but I appreciate it. I mean all those nice words, Mr. Grisham. I mean all those nice words. You are my favorite. I do learn a lot from you. And thank you very much, Mr. Todd Grisham. Grisham. Todd Grisham.
I'm trying to give you a compliment, but forget it. I can't.
No, I want to hear it now. Let's go.
No, it's too late.
Why, Todd Grisham?
I love you. And the best part is, you mentioned that we're friends. To me, that's all. I work with Sergio Mora, and he's the same way in the fact that it's like, hey, man, do you want to just sit in your hotel and be bored? Especially with quarantine. You're there for like 4 or 5 days. Or should we hang out together? So he'll come to the room, we'll hang out, chill, watch fights, do whatever. Me and Joe do the same thing. After the slow night, we'll go out and walk around town and hang out.
Yeah, get some food, sightsee, grab some drinks. Beautiful.
Yeah. Joe's a kleptomaniac, so he goes shoplifting from little souvenir shops.
That's always fun. Yeah, it feels good. Leaving with souvenirs that I didn't pay for. So.
Thanks again, man.
All right, Todd, you're the
All right,
best,
Todd,
buddy.
nice seeing
We'll
you
see you
again, man.
soon.
All right.
My man, Todd Grisham.
Yeah, Todd Grisham. Man,
Yes.
it's good to see him again.
I just think it's nice to have, my fellow commentator on to kind of get some perspective on some of the fights and stuff that we have. And I think a lot of people misunderstand the role of what we do. Like I was even, talking to someone, they think a commentator is just the commentator. They don't
Yeah.
understand that my role and Todd's role are completely different.
Yeah.
Todd's role is like the what happened, and I'm the why and how that happened.
Yeah, you're
So-
the analyst, kind
yeah.
of like what Joe Rogan is.
Yes.
Right.
But the other role, Todd's role is very difficult.
Oh.
It's the traffic control, it's promo hits, it's reads
Yeah.
of like sponsors, it's the timing.
It's a special charisma
It's
that
a
very
different
little
beast.
people have.
It's a
yeah,
different
totally
beast.
different beast. And the funny thing is, Todd, I don't even think he has to act very much because he has that natural energy even outside of commentary. I think you have to be that kind of guy, the high energy guy.
But the one thing too is like I became a commentator after my dream of fighting.
Yeah.
So my dream was to become a world champion. Todd's goal and dream from when he was a kid was to be a sports commentator. Like he said he's, filmed soccer matches as a kid and he's commentating the soccer
Really?
matches for practice.
Wow.
So it's been his life and his passion for years, just
Yeah.
as mine was for kickboxing. So it's just a different understanding, different timing. It's a different beast to do that position. I
Yeah.
mean, I think the athlete itself, it'd be very rare that an athlete can play that role. Like even when you watch like the Tony Romos of the football and, you know, and the Elways or whatever, they call as my position, you know, I'm a color commentator. So you're giving the analysis. To be a play-by-play, which is Todd, it's totally different. And I'm telling you, it's the traffic control. It's like we have something called a format, and we have to follow itemized by seconds and just introing, hey, welcome back, you know, here for the decision. We send it in now to, you know, Tim Hughes. So like those little things and the flowing of the traffic, oh my God.
And
it's
if anyone
totally
wants to
different.
even try it, like even try recording like your favorite sport.
Yeah.
And then try commentating on top.
Brutal.
Without knowing what's going to happen. So you can't know what's going to happen. Get a random sport on YouTube and then just try to commentate on top. That is not easy.
The most difficult part of my job is because we've traveled so many years with Glory, I've become such good friends with all the fighters, the teams, the coaches, the cornermen, that it's my job to call the fight down the middle. And sometimes guys think because of the friendships, I have to kind of be favorable one way or another. But when I'm in that role, I try not to think of my friends and not friends. I've had to commentate, you know, one of my best friends fight in Glory, Troy Sheridan. He was my, you know, my business partner, my training partner forever.
I know you want to coach him.
I have to coach,
but
my mindset is you have to stay down the middle, and I think that is one of the key things. So I have, you know, few people take it personally where they might not like the call. So I think that's one of the more difficult parts of my job is to stay down the middle, regardless of what my relationship with that athlete is.
That was actually something I wanted to bring up with you and Todd, but you know, I just let you guys flow. Was how difficult? Like, let's elaborate on that. Like, you're calling a fight, especially, you know, we're not going to name any names because I know every commentator's had their problems with fighters confronting them. How do you deal with that type of, you know, that type of pressure, if you will? I guess you can call it pressure. And knowing that, like, you might call their fight again next time. Does that affect the way you call your next fight?
Sometimes, I would say. Like, sometimes you don't know in your flow, like we mentioned with Todd, that you might be biased because the storyline is biased towards one guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, automatically you might do it, and like Todd just might be even calling more of what the other guy. So naturally, I just go to the other person. So it's just difficult. I think the key is you have to understand that this is your job, and to do your job well, you have to stay right down the middle. So if they don't understand that, it's where it's kind of like, well, okay, it's like I'm doing my job, you're doing yours. If we want to critique each other, we can. You know, like if you did not like something I said, I didn't like the way you defended the strike. So let's have a conversation then. If you're going to critique my role, let me critique roles. You got hit with too many low kicks. Your hands are down. Your head movement's not good. Your distance control is off. So it's easy to pick on each other. It's just, but instead of me picking, I'm like, you did your job, I'm doing mine. So we have to remember that, you know, we can be friends, but at this moment, we're just doing our job. This is what pays our bills. It would be nice to, you know, not do it and just be favorable to everyone who I wanted to and not the others. But the calling it down the middle is the key to my job.
And playing like a little bit of a devil's advocate here.
For sure.
As a fighter, you know, I know a lot of the arguments that they bring up is, well, whatever you say directly influences their image in the public eye.
Yes.
So they get concerned that if you tell them, oh, I don't have good head movement, that now everyone thinks I don't have good head movement, therefore I don't have good boxing, therefore I'm not an advanced fighter, I'm not a champion, whatever. It affects their image. But at the same time, you know, I can see your perspective of, you know, as a fan, as someone who's neutral in between, neither in your position or the fighter's position, the way I see it is, if you had good head movement, you will never have someone tell you have no head movement. So in a sense, it's not the commentator's fault. It's just your job to call what you see.
Yeah, but I don't think I would ever say you have bad head movement.
No, you specifically wouldn't. I don't think.
But I don't think I would. It would be more of like he needs to use his head movement a little bit more.
Right.
So, like, I mean, I'll mention it now because I know he listens to the podcast, and it's a joke between us all. It's Asa Tenpao. He fought Nate Robinson, and he's fought a few guys, and Asa Tenpao to me is really, like, I'll say it as it is. He's a complete kickboxer. Like, he's phenomenal boxing, good kicks, comes from a traditional martial arts background, so he can spin kick. He knows his kick arsenal is phenomenal. He mixes things well. His level changing, like I'm very impressed with him, and I see a lot of myself in him. This is why I kind of always really, really kind of supported and really liked his style. He's got the look, and he's a true martial artist. He's like the Ross Levines. He's Asa 10 Pow, and me. I always say we're cut from the same cloth because we've been all doing martial arts since we were kids. But when he fought Nate Robinson, Nate was, on paper, had better boxing credentials, boxing fights, boxing champion. Nate came into the fight saying how his boxing he felt was going to be a key, where in my mind, honest and truly, I may have felt maybe the boxing was more even, like it's close, but I know Asa's kicks are so much better than Nate's. So the storyline for me was, all right, Asa 10 Pows kicks, phenomenal, high level spin kicks, axe kicks, you know, spin kicks to the legs. Kid does everything. But Nate Robinson, watch out for that power. He comes in, his hands are good. His hands might be better. Like, so you kind of like create a storyline of how good it's going to be. But, and then my mistake was when I saw Asa in the post-fight interview, I was like, well, his boxing was supposed to be better than yours, and like he was known for his hands. He's like, so then Asa turns to me in broadcast and says something along the lines of like, well, who's saying that? I never thought his boxing was better than mine. It's like, you guys, man. It's like, well, I'm creating a storyline, but he's right, you know? But I mean, it was more of to create a storyline that I can't just say, Asa's going to blow this guy out the water. And then what's Nate going to say to me after being you think his boxing's better, his kick's better, so I have no chance? Yeah. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of build up and others. So when I overfavor someone, or maybe this guy's a huge favorite, you can't say, well, the guy who's a plus 1,000 to win. Yeah. You mean that guy has really on paper no chance to win. I can't say that guy's gonna win. I have to say something. But this guy's the champ. He's this. But don't sleep on this guy. He's got this to do that. He can catch you with this. He has done it in the past. So you kind of try to elevate. But you need a storyline to create a fight.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's not just you, but like the promotion,
it's the job,
the producers, everyone out there is trying to create that story.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just up to you. You're just the one who goes on TV and says it, right? Yeah. And it says it in front of the crowd.
But to go to the commentator and not be friends with him because of a call like that, this is where I don't disagree with, you know? Like one of my commentators we talked about is Ron Kruk. I've called Ron Kruk's been friends. He's called most of my glory fights when I was competing. Then we became friends because we commentated together. Yeah. But like when I won my world title, instead of being like, oh, Valtellini's the winner, they were saying, well, controversial win. I was like, controversial win? I won the first 3 rounds with a knockdown. Like what? But I mean, instead of me being like, oh, what do you mean now everyone thinks it's a controversial? I was like, you saw it as you did it. I'm still wearing that belt around my waist. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get it, but I would never, not be friends with someone because of it. I just think you got to understand that he's just doing his job. He's calling. He's reacting. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I get why they're upset, but I just think they take a little too personal.
I do get it, but at the same time, I don't get it because I'm not even being biased because I know you and you're a commentator. Like I'm just thinking, like even people like Joe Rogan, I'm sure have had this problem.
All kinds.
DC for sure, I know for sure has this problem.
All of them.
Right?
It's the nature of the job.
It's the nature of the job. But at the end of the day, if you're a fighter and you have an issue with the way you're being promoted by the commentator, by the commentary, I mean, you're somebody who leaves it all out in the ring. Yeah. Or an octagon, whatever you're fighting in, right? Like you're the one who says that. And if I believe if you come out and you display everything that you do at the best of your ability, then you leave no room for anybody to talk anything negative about you. It's your job to be that fighter that you believe you are. Yeah. To be that champion or the best in the world, right? And nothing, because it doesn't even matter how dominant you are. At the end of the day, you're going to have negative commentary, whether it's from people like you, like the talent, or it's from public, or it's from social. Right. Like you can be as dominant as possible. Someone has something to say about it. Always. So to hate is just a waste of energy. It's just up to you to go in there and just perform.
Just focus on you.
Just focus on
you. You shouldn't be thinking. Exactly. I mean, in the post, I get it. I mean, you want the favorable stuff, and I get it. That's all I'm going to say.
I get it. The emotions are high.
Of course, and it's like what I really realized is when you're the fighter in that moment, there is no other moment outside of that. Where like when I fought for my world title, the world title was everything. There was no life after it. There's no life. It's just that moment. You live for it. You dream about it. You fight for it. You do what you do in that moment. It's just it's the after, you know? It's like when you sit there and you listen and you hear, and it's just, I get it. So, I mean, it's frustrating to hear it. It's frustrating to get that negativity, but it's just too much energy to just
too much.
do your thing, train hard.
That's
I
it.
mean, and be able to take criticism. I think that's just a life skill that people need to
I
do.
just feel like if you feel like you're criticized for your lack of boxing in one match, then you know what? Next fight, showcase your boxing. You know, like prove people wrong, and that's
Yeah.
what champions do.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I'm not a fighter, obviously, but you know that's just the way I see it from a third eye perspective. But one thing I do want to bring up with you when it came to commentary and championship commentary and stuff like that, is there a different vibe and a different energy from calling something like a heavyweight fight like Badr fighting Rico than it is just, you know, calling every other?
I think you have to. I think it's just you have to bring excitement to the main event. I mean, some fights you'll be like, because the time the main event comes, like just like the fighting itself, you have to learn to pace yourself. Like there's times in the early Glory fights, I'm calling 14 fights. 14 fights. So if the prelim fight's phenomenal and I just, and I lose it, and Todd and I lose our voice, what energy am I going to have for Badr Hari versus Rico 4 hours later, you know? So it's about pacing, the timing, but just the energy itself. And I think when you're in ring and in venue, just to hear Glory does its thing, the doom, 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 the beat. You see the fans pull out all their phones. You just get a different feeling. And usually with the main event, if it's a good fight and guys are fighting hard, that energy plays off. Just as the fighters get more energy, like when I was calling Rico Badr and that knockdown happens, you see people yelling, the eruption, the noise. Like as a commentator, I automatically elevate my voice, my level to match the whole environment.
Yeah.
Which is so. I mean, I do feel a difference. It's about pacing it, that excitement. You'll even notice in my voice, I'm a kickboxing fan. On top of being a commentator, on top of being a fighter itself, I am a fight fanatic, obsessed. So when I hear Rico versus Badr and I see a shot, like Todd and I said, I'll sometimes interrupt them. It's just because I'm so damn excited. You know, like, oh my God, like I'm a little kid, you know, like I get so like worked up.
Well,
and
you never raise your voice in real life or yell in real life.
No.
So that's the only time you really do.
It's just still to me insane, man. Like it's like I'm sitting here talking like, look where I'm at. Like I was a 19-year-old kid coming into this gym and I'm sitting here watching Badr Hari. And you got to think when I was 19 is when I started kickboxing. I came into, it was Ultimate Martial Arts, now Bazooka Kickboxing, but I was a 19-year-old kid. I just turned 19. Badr is 1 year older than me. Okay, so Badr is 1 year old. When he was 18, Badr was fighting in the K1 Max heavyweight tournaments. So like when I just started, he was already a name, and now all of a sudden I'm just casually talking about calling his fights and being with all these big names. So sometimes I think this little break of not going to the fights really, really made me appreciate what I got to do with kickboxing and continue to get to do. I mean, damn, like I just casually talk about, oh, you know that time when I met Peter Aerts and we just hung out, and you know, oh, that time I met Ernesto Hoost and you know Jerome LeBanner, and now I'm just sitting and having Zoom conversations with Badr Hari, you know, so like these kind of things, like I mean, it's
or
insane.
even calling fights in general, but
calling
also
them
calling fights with
like how many
Todd
times do I go
Grisham,
back
right?
and I listen to old, you know, K1 fights, and I'm hearing Steven Quadros, and I'm hearing, you know, Michael Chavalos. Like that's gonna be me and Todd in 10 years and going back. So I mean, I think this commentary it made me sad because I now anything I do in this world, I do it to improve into the best of my ability. My job was to get a world title, and then this was planned. I was planned years in advance to become a commentator after the talk. So I want to be the best damn commentator there is in combat sports. So I need the reps. I need time. I need time in the ring. So having this 2020 with this pandemic with less fights, I mean, I had to practice. Doing podcasts like this helps me practice. Talking to people helps
Doing
me
your YouTube
practice. My
series.
YouTube
Yeah.
helps me just talking in front of a camera. So the goal still is to be the best damn commentator there is out
Yeah,
there.
and you're young. How many years have you doing it now?
5 years.
5
probably
years.
now.
That's young. Like,
There's
that's-
not many color commentators that can come in and
There's
do it
not
that
many
long.
color commentators. Period.
Yeah, and especially now, I think there's a big shift in the UFC is using a lot of their athletes. I think Dominic Cruz is probably my age, a year older. He's been doing it for a couple years.
They have Dom, Felder, DC,
Dom,
and Bisping.
Felder, DC, and Bisping. Yeah,
Yeah.
all of those guys doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect transition. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I just hope that it's a position where there's only one for kickboxing, and so
Yeah.
anyone. Don't do it because it's my job and I'll be doing it forever. But there's not many opportunities for it at the highest level. So that's
Yeah.
why there's under shows to get up. I mean, you can have 50 heavyweights in a roster, but you can only have one commentator for a whole show, and you need the consistency. So I was happy. Honestly, I love the role. I love the role, and I think the best thing is to be able to travel and not have to. My whole time, like I never traveled much as a kid. We did more like Florida trips. We did Myrtle Beach, and we did like smaller trips like that. But to go to like Europe, and the first time I went to Europe was when I fought in Turkey. I never been to Europe at that time, but everyone's like, "Oh, what did you eat there?" I was like, "Nothing. I cut weight." So when you got there, did you try all the different Turkish, delicacies and cuisines? Like, nope. I basically ate whatever I knew, and then the next day I fought. The next morning I leave, So I never got to enjoy food and the types of
But
things.
now
like
you
that.
get to land in there.
Now
and
I
have,
get to
like, a
go
nice day
socialize,
out.
have beers with the guys and the coaches. It's like it'll be the day or two before the fight.
Yeah.
The fighters go to bed. The coaches, you and Damien and Dennis and all the boys, we get to have a few drinks. And next thing you know, we're having a beer with Big Mike and all the top. Like literally, there's conversations where I literally am sitting at a table with the biggest kickboxing coaches in the world, and we're just drinking, socializing, talking, picking each other's brains. I'm asking them. So like those moments are what make the commentary position the best.
I mean, we talked about boxing. We talked about Garcia, Triple G. That was good. And we talked about kickboxing. Let's talk a little bit about mixed martial arts, a little bit about UFC.
Yep.
2020 just passed. We're in the new year, 2021. What are some of your best moments of 2020 in MMA?
Well, I keep talking about it. I didn't love the experience of being there. It was a little different, but I just think the fact that the fighters are still able to compete and to make a living, there's not many jobs where you can still compete, and the UFC business is doing well. I mean, they seem to be putting on fights. It's growing. But what really stood out for me in this year was I felt like the champions really didn't fight as much. And I think this was a good year for a lot of people to step up. And I mean, it was crazy to me because I don't really have favorite fighters. I don't really have, this is my favorite person to watch. But there's people who catch my attention, and then I kind of ride the wave with them. And I think 2020 for me, two guys really stood out was Davidson Figueiredo. I know there's a little bit of debate, but I have to put him as the 2020 fighter of the year in my books because hands
one of the
down,
best fights ever.
puts good fight. He put on almost a fight of the year. It was a draw. Remember that.
Yeah.
But he did lose a point deduction. So that fight of the year, defended his title. He ended up missing weight once, but I think the fact that he fought at world title levels and did well and performed well and entertained, I want to watch him. And again, usually people don't like the flyweight division, and I am obsessed with it now. I mean, training Malcolm Gordon and looking and staying involved in it and meeting Figueiredo a few times with Malcolm, it's just kind of like this guy has something scary about him, and I like it. The second person who I'm riding on, it's just more of skill mixed with personality. I like Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland he's funny. Like I almost like a Derek Lewis. When I wait, I'm like, come on, Derek, win, just so I can hear his post-fight interview. That's Kevin Holland to me. And I mean, he went 5-0 this year, took advantage, wants the big fights. he, to me, really stood out. So going into 2021, I think Figueiredo and Kevin Holland are the real two I want to keep an eye on.
Holland was 5-0 this year. I think
Yeah.
he's won the most
5-0,
wins this year.
most wins, most active. I didn't give him my fighter of the year just because I think there's a difference between fighting an undercard versus world title championship multiple times, the way he did and the level he did it at. So that's why I would give Kevin Holland the breakthrough fighter of the year. I've said it multiple times. The Chimaev, the Hazmat Chimaev. I'm not going to put him as my breakthrough fighter of the year. I still need to see a little bit more from him.
Yeah.
Gerald Meerschaert was a good win for him, but Kevin Holland just beat Jacare.
Yeah.
Knocked out Jacare. So, I mean,
In
there's a level of
crazy
competition.
fashion.
2 or 3 fights. I get the back-to-back is very impressive. I think he's going to be a good talent. I just think everyone needs to, one, pump their brakes on him a little bit until we see something spectacular.
Yeah.
And I always say with him, it's like, okay, I, in my mind, did something very spectacular, how fast I went to my world title. And when I went into Glory beating guys, like when I fought Kareem Gudge, he had 100 professional fights. Murat Durecci had 70 professional fights. I had 6 or 7. So to me, if you're going to get praise at that level, you got to show me that, okay, you went 2-3-0 back-to-back, good. But did you do that,
guy.
to a level of thing?
Yeah.
I had 10 professional fights. I went to Japan and I fought Raymond Daniels and Nikki Holtzkin in one night,
yeah.
all in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And okay, I respect what you did, but I went in and I fought higher level guys. I fought better, more. I mean, okay, you didn't get hit, but look at the level of guys.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't write him off. I just say pump the brake a little bit on him. I think eventually he's going to be that crazy level guy, and a guy like Leon Edwards is going to be the fight that's going to test him.
I think that would have tested him,
That's
but
going to
he's
test
out.
him.
He's
Yeah,
out.
it's going to come back in the next month or
hope
so,
so.
but that is the fight that we really need to see from him.
Well, I mean, I know Kevin Holland called out to replace Chimaev to fight Leon Edwards. I think that's a great fight for Holland.
yeah.
Leon Edwards is underrated.
Agree.
He's not talked about a lot, but he's definitely up there as one of the biggest talents in that weight division.
Yep.
So I mean, if I don't know if you said they were going to reschedule with Chimaev. I
Yep.
think that's a good fight, and I think that would really tell you if he's ready. Him and Holland would be a great
Yeah,
fight.
that's what they want. I mean, I love that fight.
That's a good fight.
I love that fight. I just personality, man. You need a little bit of personality, and I think even Chimaev, like him being, I smash you. It's a personality.
Yeah.
It's scaring a lot of people. It's gained attention. Dana White loves him.
Mm-hmm.
He's making money. He's doing the damn thing. So he's doing it well. But to me, I need to see something special before I call this someone special. Like I need to see. Maybe I might be a little bit more. It's harder to impress me as much as it might be other people.
Right.
But once I see it, I'm all supportive, man. Like when I said Kevin Holland, I'm riding. I like him. I think he's fun. I think he's entertaining. I think he'll put on fun fights. He'll fight anybody as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kevin Holland's last knockout, because I
Off
don't
the
think
ground.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't train, I don't think you realize how insane that actually is.
Yeah.
To be able to punch someone on your butt.
Yeah.
On the ground.
It's how he used his other leg to kind of propel him up to get the
That's
shot.
crazy. I mean, how often does that happen? That never really happens.
I think it's good. I know a lot of people were saying knockout of the year. I like it, but come on. When you talk about that Buckley with that spinning,
okay.
someone catches your kick and you're throwing a spinning back kick and you lay someone out like Timber style.
Yeah. That's tough.
A kick on it. To me, I'll say it now. A kick finish will always beat a punch finish to me.
think so.
I know. So in my mind, that's my
you're a
my
kicker.
opinion.
You're a kicker,
but it's
so-
not that like everybody throws punches.
Yeah.
We've seen so many punch knockers. You're telling me like a right hand boom,
Is that
clean,
simply just because-
or a right shin flashing someone on the head? A right kick to the
Right.
head, flatlining someone, is a lot more spectacular to me than throwing a right bomb and knocking someone out.
Yeah.
Still, both are very nice. Both guys are sleeping. But if you wrap your shin on someone's head, come on, man.
Yeah.
What beats that? What's more exciting than
That's
a
true.
freaking right head kick or a spin kick to the head that just puts someone out? Kicks to me are more exciting, and they tend to get a little bit of extra points when it comes to fight of the year.
I can't disagree with you on that. But do you think it's because of the level of difficulty to actually finish someone with a kick as opposed to finishing someone with a punch?
I just
Or
think
is it just
more
the way it
people
looks,
box, man. More
maybe?
people, everyone. You ask 10 people, you ask 100 people to throw a punch. They're going to throw a punch, and they're
Yeah.
going to do it.
Yeah.
Ask 100 people to throw a head kick. How many people are going to be able to do it of that 100?
That's true.
20?
That is very true. Yeah. Not a
Most
lot of
people can't even
can
kick above their damn waist.
A lot of
And
people
then to
don't even like
set
it.
it up in a real fight to wrap your freaking shin around someone's head,
Yeah.
come on.
And nobody leg
Nothing
kicks
beats a head
nowadays,
kick.
and
Nothing
yeah.
beats a head kick finish. to
Even
me.
the body kick is underutilized, but
Yeah.
you know, we can go on that forever.
One of the beautiful, like again, the difference is looking like Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt had when he fought who was it? Asensao,
a sense out. Yeah.
and he just loaded his whole
Oh,
body.
that
Bomb,
was so
just
sick.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
But again, then when I see a head kick, I mean, already see I'm biased. To me, a head kick wins. But
Like Edson Barbosa against
Terry Adam with
Yeah.
that spin. Yeah, of course.
Forever.
Of course. Like forever, like a kick head finish is that much better to me. It takes more skill. It's a little bit more martial art based.
Yeah.
But like I said, everybody knows how to box. Everyone can throw a 1-2. To do it with timing, precision, speed,
Right.
countered. It's a lot more. It's obviously a lot more difficult to knock someone else than what
Yeah.
I'm saying is. But to lift your head, and especially the person you're fighting will probably be a better, like not better, but they're more likely to use their hands on you. So to kick as they punch, it's dangerous for me. So I said my point, Danny.
Yeah.
The head kick wins.
Hard to disagree. So yeah, we're out of time, but there is maybe something you can address to the audience. I know, or at least I want to address to the audience. I know there's a lot of people in the comments saying that they want to put this as like an audio only thing.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Me and
yeah.
Joe are talking about it.
We
just so you
figured
guys
out
know.
how to do it, and
Yeah.
a little bit of help from Costa gave me some stuff. So we'll work
Yeah,
on that. I
we're
think
working on it.
in 21, we'll try to get that going.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we got going on, so we're trying
Yeah.
to figure it out.
But once again, man, I just want to thank everyone who's continuing to like, share, subscribe, passing it on to their friends. I'm actually very happy the way the podcast is going. And once again, thank you to Danny. Danny, thank you, my man,
Yeah,
for
man.
setting it up. And I do want to build a part of these podcast segments a little bit more where I can interact with you guys. So Danny and I are going to figure out ways that you guys can ask questions before each podcast, whether I put it on my Instagram or we figure out this community thing on this channel. But I think Instagram might be the best. I'll
think
throw
so.
up a picture saying that, like, for example, oh, Todd is going to be my guest. And then all of a sudden, boom, we can
Yeah.
ask questions and then you can pull them up and help
Exactly.
us.
Yeah, 100%.
Already, my boy Tyson Chartier already listened to the podcast and he gave me the thumbs up. I bigged him
Nice.
up last week.
Sick.
He's the head coach of Rob Font and Kelvin Cater. Kelvin Cater's fighting Max Holloway,
And the 16th.
So I want to
Yeah.
break something down and maybe we'll give him a quick call. He says he's down, but like I said, I want to pick his brain more on he is a high-level manager. He manages a lot of UFC guys. He's also a head coach and he was a fighter himself. So he's got the full unique mind that I want to pick. So if he's not too busy, I'm sure we can hit a little segment just to kind of hear how Kelvin is going in, and then maybe we can do a nice longer form with him because very intelligent, very, very
It's
intelligent.
going to be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be
Definitely amazing
right
one.
away. First person I thought of, so I think it'll be phenomenal. But again, thank you for watching and subscribing. Bazooka Kickboxing, building, hurting bombs. You guys know to do the rest. I don't have to keep saying it. Blah blah blah. Like, subscribe. Blah blah blah. Keep going. Next thing, just do it. Help the damn channel grow.
Exactly.
That's it. The more we do, the better. The more you like, and the more we produce. So, we are out.